Hey everyone, this is Sage Valentine, aka Etherblade, and you are watching the review of The Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 10, Inmates. Beth decided to start writing in her journal again. I guess after all that's happened. So when the episode opens, that's basically what she's doing. She's basically reading us a entry of her journal. Beth escaped in episode 8 with Daryl. They both just hit the ground running and just went on. The episode 10 basically opens with Beth and Daryl battling demons together side by side. I know that Bethel is having an absolute fit. Personally, I am too, because this is awesome. Apparently, Scott Gimple, Robert Kirkman, they're paying attention to what's going on social media. They're paying attention with these ships, and they are riding high. Whether or not they support them, hey, but a little ship goes a long way. Okay. They decide, I guess the cameramen decide to, add a shot of a praying mantis in a web and some fungi growing on a tree that they kind of look like, mushrooms cut open. Beth and Daryl are basically running together, like I said, fighting side by side, and they become so overwhelmed that they end up passing out in the middle of a field where there are like 8 crows or buzzards or whatever would have you circling above, like waiting, looking at them like, hey, lunch is on. Those zombies that are chasing them are crazy. They're probably the craziest zombies I've ever seen this season. But then season 4 has had some nutty zombies. They warned us at Comic-Con. They said that these zombies will not be manageable and they're going to show their true selves. And they definitely are. With like, our heroes don't get any blood. They basically don't get any room to breathe here. It's like, take a breath, zombie. Go on, zombie. I'm all for it, hey. Okay. Like I said, they passed out. They're running crazy. Beth basically has like a quote that, Herschel said to her when he basically said, if you don't have hope, what's the point of living? And in this zombie walker biter geek apocalypse, all you need for the most part is hope. Without hope, you'll be just like the rest of the people who basically took their own lives. Not that I blame them, considering what was going on, and you can't judge their situation, but in the same sense, the same token, without hope, there's nothing left. Beth and Daryl are basically sitting down at the fire. This is the scene that AMC allowed us all to see. After the episode was over, they let us, see them sitting there, and Beth was begging him, we should do something, and Daryl just looks up at her with this, like, broken down, hopeless, sad look, and then she just gets up, grabs a knife, and just like, screw it, I'm gonna do this. Daryl gets up after her and stomps out the fire and just follows suit. They basically come upon what looks like, I guess you could tell, I guess they start tracking the footprints, and they see that a zombie's been passed. But for some reason in this scene, like, I wrote down notes, but the scene kind of confused me. I may have to watch it again, to really sink it in. But it appeared like something had happened. A zombie had attacked a couple, an African American man and a white woman, and I guess they were bitten, and then, or one of them died and they bit the other one, and they turned their friend or somebody else into a zombie. Either way, that zombie, as they're looking for that zombie, it's just like Daryl kind of finds blood on the tree, but he knows that it's not from a walker, it's from a human. And he's basically says that, if these people were alive, they were alive 5 to 4 hours ago. Beth was like, wouldn't it kill you to have a little faith? Daryl shoots back, Faith ain't done shit for us. Sure as hell didn't do nothing for your father. Awkward. Extremely awkward. And yet another quote, like what Carl said. Carl, basically mentioned Shane and was just trying to like rub it in Rick's face. I don't think that Daryl was trying to do that to Beth, but it still, sliced through her and it cut her, and it had some little Merle undertones, because, Merle would say whatever he felt like saying and wouldn't give a damn about who saw what, said what, did what, hey. Beth kind of changes the subject after they finish a couple minutes staring at each other, and she tries to find some berries to get, food to eat. They find the 2 dead walkers that I mentioned. It takes them a while to find it. I just, summarize it, but it takes them a minute before they find the dead walkers, the black guy, the white woman. And Daryl comes to the realization that I did that, whomever killed those 2 walkers. But apparently they're not dead because they pop up, try to kill Beth. Beth is basically almost overcome. Daryl tries to take a shot with an arrow, can't do it, grabs the walker, and then Beth takes her knife out and right into the arrow, the zombie, not Beth. Beth is still here with us. They see railroad tracks, and then they come upon these zombies eating people, and they, I guess, start killing them, but then Beth breaks down and starts to cry, and Daryl just walks away like he doesn't even want to hear it, but then it starts, like, tugging at his heartstrings, because, don't forget, the end of last season, or actually episode 11, Daryl was crying over Merle, so Daryl, I guess he stops. Hopefully, like, in the next episode, they show him and he's comforting her. I don't know, but Daryl's pretty good with comfort. Unlike Merle, he's good with comfort. Beth just believes that everybody's alive just for her father's sake. Like, she won't let that go. We find Mika and Lizzie are walking, and they're talking to someone, and you see Tyrese with his back turned. He turns around, and he's holding little Judith. So, like I said, I told you Judith wasn't dead. I hoped that at least Carol had her. I wanted Michonne to have her, but Tyrese having her is even better. Lizzie's trying to keep strong even though Mika's scared. For the most part, Lizzie wants to know if everyone's dead. Tyrese doesn't know, but he really doesn't answer her. He starts like wrapping his wrist because this is later when they're around the fire. Now we finally figure out in this scene who killed or vivisected that rabbit that was like nailed to the wall that time that Tyrese found when he found Karen's body and that other boy with the glasses' body. We realize that it's Lizzie because she was trying to skin that adorable gray bunny. This adorable bunny. Both of them were cute. Judith starts crying and Tyrese takes a bottle, trying to feed her, and then a walker comes near, so they all gotta get up, take their stuff, and run on. And this scene, even through this whole scene, I just want to say one thing, that Tyrese is a better father than Lori was a mother. I don't know if you can compare them, you probably can't, but Tyrese and Daryl were more nurturing towards these kids than Lori kind of was with Carl towards the end. Hopefully you get that. Lori towards the end when she was pregnant with Judith, Lori was kind of like standoffish. It was kind of like talk to your dad, and these guys are like more comforting. You see them again during sunlight. The girls find grapes and they ask Tyrese if it's okay to eat them. They eat them. They go on. Judith starts crying and they hear rustling again. It turns out to be a bird, but Mika thinks it's a walker. Mika takes off running. They chase after her. I'm thinking they left Judith, but they didn't. Mika apologizes to Tyrese for running. He tells her, you know what, you did the right thing. I think Mika's such a sweetie. She keeps apologizing to Tyrese like she cut him or something when he came up. I think she did. But he said, don't be sorry. He said, because she feels like she's weaker than her sister, she was like, don't be sorry. You each do things differently, but you both get it done. Mika said, like you and Sasha. Here comes Lizzie, Miss Debbie Downer. oh, well, no, not like Sasha, because you know Sasha's not here. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Obviously, we knew that. They hear a scream. Tyrese, rather than take the girls and the baby, he has Lizzie and Mika stand with their backs to one another, holding the baby. Mika has a gun, and I think a knife, and I think Lizzie has a gun. A lot of people kind of differed with this scene. I was fine with it because Lizzie can take care of herself. She might be crazy, but she can handle the situation. And Tyrese goes to see who it is, and Mika's like crying because she doesn't want Tyrese to leave him, but he says, you know what, you can handle this, you're tough. Tyrese finds two men beating walkers. One gets bit by a zombie, and the other one gets bit. Meanwhile, the zombies are approaching because Judith starts crying again. I guess she misses Tyrese. Maybe she's hungry. She's probably freaked out. It's hot as hell down there, I'm sure. Lizzie takes her hand and puts it over Judith's mouth. But in doing so, she just like obscuring her nose. She starts like blacking out. And I'm like, is Lizzie losing it? She's going crazy? What the hell's going on with this? Walkers keep coming closer and closer to poor Mika and Lizzie. Mika fires a shot. She misses. Poor baby. And Tyrese hears that shot, but he's still trying to help those people. That man, like I said, the second man got bit. His son was bit on the arm, but he was taken out. The man gets bit between his neck and his shoulder. And Tyrese kills the zombie that bites him. And then he hears something coming around, and he's like, he's kind of in the zone. And then who pops up but Miss Carol? I was so happy to see Carol. I was so, like, upset that they kind of got rid of her because of what happened. Because I still don't believe she did it. Like, I feel like that maybe Lizzie did it, and Lizzie did something to those bodies, and Carol kind of just burned them to cover it up. Tyrese is so overcome with emotion of seeing Carol that he just runs and he hugs her and he hugs her. And Carol's confused as hell. Like, shouldn't he be mad at me? But she doesn't realize that Rick never told Tyrese. He told Daryl. But he never told Tyrese. So, yeah. Pretty much. What happened? Like I said, they're bitten on the neck. The man who's bitten tells this little group that there is a place, you know, that they can go and they can stay and they can be safe. The man's left crying while they leave. He tells them to follow the railroad tracks. Mika tells Tyrese she didn't run, she stayed with her sister, and he says she's a tough little lady. Carol has food and water, and they basically feed it to the girls, or Tyrese gives water to the girls. And Carol lies when Tyrese starts inquiring about where she was when everything happened at the prison. She basically says that Rick gave her, like, she and Rick gathered all this stuff together, and Rick took the car they found and came back. And Tyrese is like, well, if you have a car, let's go get the car. And she's like, no. She says no. She has this, like, haunting quote of, like, the walkers, the fire, can't go back to a graveyard. Just let that sink in a little bit. To me, that quote was just basically like, let's just leave it in the past. Like, this secret I'm holding, I'll just leave it back there. They find this place that the man was talking about. There's a sign up there that says, who finds sanctuary. Okay, it says sanctuary for all, community for all those who survive. Me personally, I don't like it. I guess because I know about the comic books and stuff. I'm not going to give away a spoiler. It wouldn't be fair to you guys. But it's just like there was a word at the bottom of the map that said terminus, which basically means a final goal or a finishing point. It also comes from it's like the root word in the term terminus ad quo, which means point of origin. Or if terminus ad quem, it's an object. goal, object, or course of action. Final limiting point in time. If you read the comic book, I think you know where the storyline is going. If you didn't, I'm not going to ruin it for you. But I'm just going to tell you that the governor is not the end game. The governor was like Mr. Rogers compared to what this group is about to basically come upon, and it's not going to be pretty. We see a hand and a knife, and the knife is like sharpening a rock, and then you see like an engagement ring on the hand. You realize it's Maggie. Then you see them pan out, and you see Sasha and Bob, and Sasha's talking to Bob. Bob's so sunshiny and happy after being the alcoholic that nearly got himself, Michonne, Tyrese, and Daryl killed a couple episodes ago, but he's turned over a new leaf after being shot, I guess. And Sasha's like being all sarcastic, like, you can smile for being alive, I get it. And Bob just believes that everyone, including Tyrese, is alive. Sasha doesn't even want to hear it. Maggie's sad, but she wants to know where everyone is on the bus. She decides to go off to find Glenn. She's not sure if Beth is still alive. Bob and Sasha are against it, but Bob leads the charge between the two of them. That Bob follows her, and Sasha's like, well, where are you going? We should be finding food. And he's like, no, we stick together. We're going to stay together. Sasha's like, the odds. They said with the odds, basically, she said, we should be finding food, like I said. Shit happens, but not everything has to mean something. Bob, like I said, has a new lease on life. He doesn't want to just find food and live, or eat to live, or just survive. They find the bus on the side of the road. They see that there are zombies in the bus, or walkers in the bus. Maggie decides to, together with Sasha, to release one walker each time to check their face and then stab them on the head. Eventually, Bob and Sasha basically help her. Maggie is just destroyed. She wants to know where Glenn is. She goes on a bus. I'm thinking that the zombie on the walker on the bus is Glenn. It's not. And she kills that zombie. Walker, zombie, biter, geek. And I'm trying to be funny because there's like so many words for the undead that if you're not like, for some fans, if you're not like following the code, they get all upset and angry. Personally, they're zombies to me, but I do call them walkers. It is what it is. Undead, whatever you want to call them. They realize Glenn isn't there. Maggie, like I said, jumped on a bus, saw all the parts, so everything ripped up, found out that zombie wasn't him. Glenn wakes up later on the top of a platform. He's on that footbridge that they destroyed with the 50 cal or the rocket launcher or whatever the hell it was they had. He sees walkers all over the prison yard. He goes back inside of the prison to gather up supplies, riot gear, Herschel's, watch, different things like that. He coughs because of smoke because it's still burning on the inside of that place. And he basically lays down, distraught. He's a Polaroid of Maggie, and I feel like Robert Kirkman's so mean for this. He is so mean just to leave Glenn like this. Like, of all the characters, Glenn by himself is just so sad. And I was like, poor Glenn. I kept just saying, poor Glenn. But anyway, he gets all his stuff. He has the riot gear on. He's trying to get out of there, and he sees, like, this herd tries to overcome him, but he's able to break through. And he sees a woman with a ponytail, and who does he see but Tara? Tara is Lily's sister. Lily was the governor's main squeeze before the governor lost his head. Come to find out, she basically stayed there. I guess she couldn't live with herself after Lizzie killed Alicia, her girlfriend. Glenn tries to convince her to go with him, and she keeps saying, you know what, I'm a part of this. I can't help you. I can't. He said, no, you're going to help me. Let's go. He found some whiskey inside of the prison, so he makes a Molotov cocktail, sets it on fire, and whoosh. They flock to it. Tara runs first. The walkers follow. They escape. Apparently, the walkers killed Lily, and Glenn was unaware that Herschel had died. I'm not sure where Glenn went, because Glenn kind of disappeared when all the firefights started. Tara's remorseful for believing the governor's lies. There's a little sign that pops up that says, hitchhikers may be escaping inmates. It makes me crack up because, like, in like the time of the zombie apocalypse, and it's like to have a sign like that is funny. Like someone should have like spray painted walkers or biters or something on there and have a hitchhiking biter. He tells her, you know what, I don't want your help, I need your help. Glenn tells Tara that. He believes Maggie's still alive. The zombie herd, apparently, they are getting some exercise, some cardio, some walking, some Pilates, because they go from the prison and follow them, and Glenn's trying to fight him, and Glenn grabs his side. He's still fighting, then he falls out. Tara sees a walker trying to attack her, and she jumps on that walker and she kills him. I mean, she just keeps kicking and stabbing and stabbing and stabbing until he's kaput. She stares right at the camera and says, I hope you enjoyed the show, assholes. Now, she's breaking the, as they call it, the fourth wall, just like they do in House of Cards. I'm thinking, is she talking to us? Didn't that camera pan around and a truck pulls up? And for those who read the comic books, you'll know what I'm talking about. It looks exactly like a comic. Whose number, I think it's in the 70s. It might be in the 70s. Don't quote me on it. It's from the Walking Dead comic. And out pops a red-headed man known as Abraham Ford, Dr. Eugene Porter, and Rosita. I believe her last name is Perez. Rosita, Abraham's girlfriend. And the scene just looked like the comic book. And I'm like, dang. Like, wow. Like, you guys are just, like, staying true to this comic book in this sense. And I like it. No, it's not exactly like the comic book. And in some instances, the comic book goes above and beyond. But I like how how Robert Kirkman is still staying true to that storyline. The last thing that Abraham says is, you got a damn mouth on you. You know that. What else you got? I can tell you that I was not surprised to see Abraham, because at New York Comic Con, Abraham appeared, but we didn't know it was Abraham. All we saw was a man in a trench coat and a hat and a mask, and he got up to ask a question. When he came up there, he was saying something. Everybody's looking. Took off the mask, the jacket, threw it off, and it was Abraham cussing up a mother effer, this and effing this and effing this. And I was like, everybody got scared because people were like, oh my God, he's going to pull a gun, oh my God, oh my God. But it was fantastic. And I was like, I just looked at him and I said, Abraham, I know who that is. I was freaking out. This episode was good. Next week is supposed to be a Riccone episode. Yes, Riccone, I see you once again. I saw Michonne in that little shirt, and the way she was talking to Rick, all sultry. Little triangle between Riccone and Dixon and Bethel. Hey, I was just saying it. They need to come up with a name of a ship for Sasha and Bob. Saab. Tyrese and Carol. Terrell, Carice. I think they're calling it Carice because of the comic book. I have no clue. I really like it, and I can't wait till next week's episode after seeing that scene. I'm probably going to watch that scene like 50 times. But anywho, thanks for tuning in for my review. As always, as bright and colorful as it is. This is Etherblade, aka Sage Valentine, and if you ever want to chat, you ever want to talk, I'm at Sage Valentine on Twitter. If you like what you see, definitely give me a thumbs up, and if you don't, thumbs down. And any comments, any questions, if you like it, if you enjoy my brand of silly, wild, crazy reviews and my own POV, definitely subscribe. It's wonderful having you guys here. I'm glad you're watching. Take care. Have an awesome evening, wonderful night, and a great work week. And I'll be here doing more. And I'm so excited for Guardians of the Galaxy's trailer coming out. I have to get that word out, and the word was not coming out. Trailer coming out tomorrow, and I'm just super excited. So, like I said, thanks for tuning in. Pieces. Bye, guys.